So hi guys, first of all thank you very much for subscribing CA Final Advanced Auditing for May 23 and November 23 examination onwards for Google Drive. Actually, this small clarification video, by the way, whatever you're going to watch, the classes are face-to-face recorded classes. Like we have taken face-to-face classes at Kuntur and the same class is being recorded simultaneously. In the initial 2 hours, there is a chapter called Fundamentals. The initial 2 hours, we have used a different mic. It's a wireless mic which we used. So the clarity right now, whatever you are getting, there the clarity will be little reduced. Again, after 2 hours, because the first day of the class, we tried it already. We took a demo, all that in the wireless. It was fine, but when we actually recorded the class, because output mic will be there in the class, no, that echo has been captured. Getting it? Because of that, you will find little disturbance in the fundamentals chapter. Only in the fundamentals first 2 hours chapter, you will find little bit difficult. So what I will do is, fundamentals, whatever face-to-face recordings are there, I will give you. In addition to that, fundamentals of my previous version were there, 2022 edition. So that recordings also I'll provide you. So that when you're watching these face-to-face recorded classes for fundamentals, if you feel any disturbance, you can just shift to my previous version fundamentals class recording and then proceed further. Immediately after only first 2 hours classes only, you'll have this problem. Then after, you will not have any problem because I'll be using this head mic. This mic I'll be using for from the next class onwards. Only in the initial 2 lectures I will be using wireless mic. Just a precautionary note. If at all you directly watch that, you will be having immediately a trouble. Sir, recording was not so. So that you'll not have a trouble. I mean, you'll not have a confusion. That's it. Okay. Now, almost before we discuss fundamentals, introduction I have covered for 30 minutes, 35 minutes, explaining about the material, explaining about the exam pattern, explaining about so many things. Getting it? I hope you go through all of that and then proceed further. So thank you. Have a nice time. All the best. And once again, thank you for subscribing to the Advanced Auditing. And I promise you, you are going to get a best experience in audit. And I even promise you, you will get an exemption if you really focus on these classes consistently. Daily 2 hours you please focus consistently for the classes. Hardly within 3.5 months you can finish auditing syllabus coaching. That's it. Okay, go to the next video, which is zero video introduction video. Okay, introduction to the audit. So first of all, at CA final, this is paper 3, okay, advanced auditing and professional ethics. In CA inter, the subject name is actually auditing and assurance. Auditing and assurance. But in CA inter, we do not have much of assurance related topic, because assurance is a very broader term. Assurance is a very broader term. We only have audit related topic. See, we have a chapter actually called standards, which is the third chapter. Okay. So in that I will be explaining you the difference between audit and assurance and what are various types of assurances that a chartered accountant can take. So that we will discuss in the third chapter. So we only have at CA inter audit related aspects. Now earlier, before 2018, I think every one of you are from new scheme, which is actually nothing but existing scheme. Getting it? Before your scheme has came into picture, there is something called old scheme. In that old scheme of CA final, we have totally approximately 45 standards. It's not audit standard. There are 45 standards simply. We call them as engagement standards. What do we call them? Engagement standards. Out of them, only 35 were audit related standards. Only 35 were audit related standards. But after your scheme has been implemented, all those 10 standards were eliminated from syllabus. Even now, for you, all engagement standards do not apply. From exam point of view, we only have audit standards in syllabus. We don't have engagement standards. So predominantly, what we are focusing is only on audit. We are not trying to focus on other related. Getting it? Slowly, I'll be discussing from very fundamental level. Getting it? Now, so this is the order in which we are going to discuss the syllabus. Now, before that, let me even open This is the module 1, which is the material. So first, let me tell you what are the resources that we are going to follow. What are the resources that we are going to follow, and then we'll start the actual chapter. So this is beginning is introductory session. You're all clear with my pace? At this pace, I can go right. See, in the institute material, we are having totally 18 chapters. We are having totally 18 chapters as per ICA book, which is the 18th chapter of professional ethics. Professional ethics is the 18th chapter. But believe me, professional ethics is a very easy chapter. Honestly, even without a faculty, you can study and understand. The main difficulty point is in standards. In CA final audit, where people struggle a lot is standards. Even in the last November 22 examination, 25 marks weightage from standard related topics. 25. That's the minimum weightage always. You will get minimum 25, maximum 40, 50 also from standard. Like, standards means immediately students think we have something called separate chapter called standards. If you look at ICA book, there is a chapter called chapter number 1, which is actually talking about engagement and quality control standards. If you open that ICA book, your final study material, CA final ICA study material, first chapter, it is hardly 50 pages. It will not discuss even one standard. It will not contain. And there is a chapter called in your CA final, second chapter ICA material. In ICA material, what is it? It's a second chapter, which is audit planning strategy. This is second chapter in your CA final audit. This is in our order, it is 17th priority. In our chapter index, it is 17th chapter. Now, if you look at this chapter in your CA final ICA study material, in the last page, what they mentioned, for all the standards, refer CA intermediate. Yes, that is what it is mentioned. Let me show you. I think that would be better, right? It's the last page. Whatever we are discussing, we must have complete command. Especially command on ICA material is at most required. Getting it? Now this is planning and strategy, right? So in this, we are having 54 pages. So you see here, audit strategy planning audit program is discussed in chapter 2 of CA intermediate. Second point, for all these standards 230, 500, 580, 501, 505, 510, they're asking you to refer CA inter. Fraud 240, refer CA into material. Even 530, refer CA. 520, refer CA into material. And 250, 260, 320, only these 6 standards are 5 standards. Only these 5 you have to read from the pronouncement of the CA final. Remember, this is a statement given in the CA final second chapter material. Getting the point? Then 315 is again we have a separate chapter called risk assessment at CA final itself. We have a separate chapter. So tell me, at CA final, only 5 standards we need to discuss from announcement. Remaining all other standards we need to discuss from CA inter material. What I did, in CA inter we give that material, right? That material we have given you, that is in the standards chapter. Whatever the material that we are going to give you, in that material, we clearly incorporated CA inter standards related content. We should not skip any point. In the last exam, they asked a question on external confirmation. They asked a question on, SCA 220, withdrawal concept. All are from CA inter only. They were all discussed in CA inter mainly. Getting the point? In every exam, from CA inter standards, whatever is there, 15 marks coverage will be. It may be in the form of MCQ or it may be in the form of a descriptive question. Getting the point? I'm just introducing you what is the syllabus that we have, where it is there. Only this aspect we need to refer CA inter material. We have to. It is compulsory because in CA Inter only, these standards are covered in depth. Our second option, what we have, for all these standards, read from pronouncement book. Either of these two options. In the point. Now, one more important thing. So, what is the material that we are going to use? Okay, let me first explain the index, then I'll discuss about the material, how far this material is reliable. First, you'll have a doubt. Can I follow this material, or should I follow icai material, or should I follow some other material? Getting it? You might be having this query. Throughout the journey, you'll be having this issue. With whatever the subject you're reading, whatever the subject, you always have this doubt. Is this material sufficient? Is this material sufficient? Okay. So today, first day itself, I want to give you the confidence of how this material is sufficient. Now, this material is prepared completely in line with icai material. This is completely prepared in line with icai material. We only removed content which is completely irrelevant. Most of the content, I can confidently say 95% content in the icai material, whatever content is there in icai material, 95% we retained. Getting the point? Now, you will find in the market many colored notes which are of very short version, They're very crisp to read. But let me tell you, in audit, what difficulty which everybody has faced, which every one of us, what difficulty we are facing is, we are reading, we are unable to remember. Whatever we read in the material, we are unable to reproduce on the exam. Now tell me, if 100% is there in a sentence, if I read full sentence, I can only give an exam 50 out of it. If I read 50, are you getting my point? So always tell me, every one of you, should we follow icai material obviously or not? In examination, suggested answer, RTP, MTP, in all these cases, if you look at what terminology, what sentences they're using, completely icai material. Whatever short notes you read, that will not be there in the icai material. It is only a full sentences completely. So we have to read from that culture only. We have to adapt to that. Remember, if I give you at your level a short notes and then sit you at that level, make you sit at that level, nothing great until. If I bring you to this level where you can read only half sentence, but you are able to read now full sentence, it is when a teacher's success is. I should not cut short the sentences. I should not reduce the content. I should keep the content same. You should be able to reach to that level. That is what being expected. MCQs. How many of you have recently cleared CA Inter Group 2? CA Inter Group 2. You recently cleared. You observed MCQs, right? They are completely icai material based. Line by line, word by word, it will match with icai material. Outside any other book you take, it will not match. If a student studied from an outside other book, he will be feeling extremely difficult to answer MCQs because the sentence will not match. The wordings are different. Able to understand? So, in order to score the best in MCQs, we have to read from the icai book. But what I made, this book has been prepared in line with icai completely. Getting it? All the icai material content has been reserved as it is. Unless the content is useless, getting it? Only the useless content we remove. Rest all of the content we kept. We didn't cut short the sentences. We organized it in the form of points. We underlined key points. Getting it? We made the material to read easily. And one more thing. This material, a student can understand easily only through my classes. Otherwise, he will feel difficult. He will feel like reading icai material. But those who are attending this class will feel extremely comfortable with the material. To see the question paper of any past 10 attempts, you can solve without practicing questions. If a student practiced, 1,000 questions from a question bank, definitely he can answer past 10 exam question. But if a new question comes, he cannot answer. If a new question comes, he cannot answer. May 22 attempt was one of the toughest in CA final audit. December 21 was tough. May 22 was extremely tough. In that exam, our students performed. You can see anybody, you can ask anybody. If the paper is very normal, anybody can answer. But in an extreme tough scenario, only few can answer who are prepared for the worst. Getting it? I want you to prepare for the worst. We can't expect, right? In which attempt, which paper will come tough, we can't expect. So we should always prepare for the toughest level. Actually, I don't like these words tough, easy. No, I don't. I'm not familiar. What is there you need to learn first thing? Whatever is there, if you learn, that's enough. Only from that it will be tested. For whom it is tough? Those who have not prepared completely. For them only it is tough. So, if you regularly attend these classes without a failure, and we told whoever is attending for face to face, we will give backup class also. Getting it? This I'm recording actually. Okay, simultaneously recording is happening. So this will record. After 15-20 days, we will start giving you backup class also. So from day one, from today, whatever session is there, everything will be recorded. It will be given to you. From the date on which you activate the class, from there 50 days validity subject to the maximum of May 10th. What is the main cutoff date? May 10th. So 50 days validity you will be having. Clear all of you? How many of you are for November 23 exams? Only 2. It's okay. Fine. So we are having totally 18 chapters as per icai material, and in our material we have arranged it in this order. Getting it? We have arranged it in this order. You see, in icai material there is no chapter called fundamentals. That's why I name it as 0 chapter fundamentals. Then we will be discussing company audit. Then we will be discussing audit report. Then standard. Then we will be discussing ethics. Then corporate governance. This segment this segment itself up to company, audit committee and corporate governance, this will have a weightage of 40 marks minimum. It's a minimum weightage. Maximum weightage is up to 50 marks, so even 70 sometimes, even up to 70, 40 to 70. Anyway, they can twist. Getting it? Then peer review and quality review, we are having weightage of 5 to 10 marks. Audit under fiscal loss. Before 2021, we have 2 fiscal laws audit. One is audit under income tax law, another one audit under GST law. But everyone knows now audit under GST law is removed. So right now we only have audit under fiscal law. This is the original way in which we arranged the chapters in the material. But this is not going to be the same order which we discussed, because our order of discussion will vary from year to year. In 2022, the order in which I taught is little different from this year, 2023. Now, then we will have these chapters. These are all, many students feel that these are all very dry topics because they don't understand. I will show you how easy to crack them, how easy to remember them as well. Then we have a chapter called audit planning, which is completely CA Inter, similar to CA Inter, but we will discuss in them. Then we have risk assessment, which is again exclusively given at CA Final. This risk assessment chapter is not same in your CA Inter. In CA Inter also we have a chapter called risk assessment. In CA Inter we have risk assessment and internal control chapter. Inside that some 70-80 pages content is there. Here also we have 70-80 pages content. The content will not match. Chapter names are same, but the content is different. This is advanced auditing. Here it is little advanced. I think it. Then we have automated environment. At CA Inter we have automated environment. In CA Final we have automated environment, but the content is not same. Then 20th chapter is what SA 500, 230, 330, 530, 520, 240, all these standards which we discuss directly from CA Inter.
And we have an institute book, fifth chapter, which is nothing but schedule 3. I am not discussing that schedule 3 aspect. If time permits at the last, we will discuss. Within our scheduled target time, if time permits, we will surely discuss. Getting it? Otherwise, if at all time could not permit, I will not be discussing, because schedule 3 is easy to understand. Especially, you all have been going through FR classes. Schedule 3 is very much covered for you, division 2 especially. Schedule 3, division 2. Of course, division 1 is also important. Then finally, audit of consolidated financial statements. This is also an important topic. 5 marks question for sure. Getting it? Now, this is the index. Now, you know what is the order which we discuss? I divided the syllabus into 2 parts. First priority chapters, and the second one is second priority chapters. First priority chapters, second priority chapters. Getting it? Now, what is the weightage that we will get as a whole? 120. What is the weightage that we get? 120 marks for us. Yes, out of which 30 marks is for MCQ and 90 marks is of description. Out of which 20 marks is choice, 70 marks we need to attempt. Correct? Out of this 30 marks MCQ, 15 to 20 marks we will get simple MCQ. Simple MCQ means it's a normal MCQ. For another 10 to 15 marks approx, it may be 10 or 15. If it is 15, here it is 15. This is case based MCQ. Getting it? In audit, you can solve MCQ only if you have absolute command on the. And I will promise, by attending classes, you will get that command in MCQs. That I will guarantee. You need not even read. Just pay attention listening to the class. When I'm reading the material, you also read along with me simultaneously. Just pay attention, and you see 30 out of 30 is not an difficult task. Very easy to secure out 30 out of 30 in MCQs. Now, this is the breakup. Now, tell me, out of 120, we only have to attempt for 100. Correct? We only have to attempt for 100. But what I will tell you, first let us target for 80 only. Let's target for 80 marks. 40 marks portion of syllabus. 35 to 40 marks portion of syllabus. You keep it pending. You keep it pending. Those I call them as second priority chapters. What I classify as second priority chapters, these are the chapters which are very difficult. Very difficult. And the weightage from these chapters is hardly, in the last attempt 20 only came. In the last attempt, in my YouTube channel Harsha, you will find paper analysis video of November 22. You see, from second priority chapters, whatever I classified now, only 20 to 25 marks only came. Which means 90 to 95 marks are coming only from first priority chapters. These second priority chapters, risk assessment, you know how many pages it is? Approximately we are having 90 pages in the ICA book, some 70 to 90, not exactly sure, some 70 to 90. And strategy and planning we are having 40 marks. Fraud investigation we are having approximately some again 30 marks. PSC audit we are having 30 pages. PSC audit also we are having some 30 pages. Audit and income tax we are having 100 pages. 100, not even 100, 108 pages. Entire that 44 AD, 44 AB 3CD, we call it as what? 3CD checklist. Getting it? That entire checklist is copy pasted. And I suggest this chapter, audit under income tax law. I suggest to students to read this chapter only if you are taking coaching for direct tax, or only if you are planning for DT along with group 1. Along with group 1, you are planning to write group 2 or only DT at least. And you are already taking coaching for DT. Only for them I will recommend this chapter. For others, you will feel extremely difficult. Those who are reading direct taxes are familiar with many sections. Getting it? Since it's a recap for you, when you're taking direct tax, see, CA inter, you studied income tax subject, ignore that fact. It's been 1.5-2 years ago. Most of the provisions have changed, and moreover, you first of all forget what is there. You will not have command. In audit under income tax law, we are having totally 44 clauses. We are totally having how many? 44 clauses. Now, there are some clauses which are having more than 10 subclauses. Effectively, if I count along with the subclause, you will find 120 clauses. You know what institute is asking? Stupid MCQs they're asking sometimes, very rare. I saw in RTP, MTP. They give you one provision. They'll ask you which clause. Under 44, under 3CD, it is dealt. Clause number 29A, clause number 29B, clause number 29C, clause number 29D. Who knows? First of all, remembering what is clause 29 itself is difficult. But institute is testing subclause, which is even extremely difficult to remember. We can have a technique for this to remember. But you know what? It will take approximately 15 to 20 years to memorize this chapter, including provisions. Including 3CD checklist, it will take 15 to 20 years. I'm telling minimum time. If you are very productive, 15 to 20 years it will take. Getting it? How many of you have done tax audits earlier? How many of you? All of you did articles? No. Tax audits have you written? Have you filed? Tax audit return, those who are very expert to fill a tax audit return which will have all the clauses, it will take 4 to 5 years to fill a practical report. Now remember, the entire report they are asking you to remember because they'll test. So 20 hours it will take minimum. And we will be discussing, that will take another 10 hours. As a whole, we need to spend 30 hours on this chapter if you want to recollect. But you know what you can do within that 30 hours? Entire priority one, you can revise a second. Entire priority one, what you can do? You can revise once. You will achieve much more, command. This is wise, like this is much more clever task. Getting it? So I will tell only those, in the last exam, it was only asked for 4 marks. Now tell me, 100 pages, and reading for totally 20 to 30 hours to memorize it, and finally getting it for 4 or maximum 6. Is there any? We need to look at cost benefit analysis. How much we are investing, how much benefit we are getting. That's why this chapter, I strictly tell everybody not to read. We'll discuss in the class, but don't read from exam point. Keep it at, ignore it. Your target primarily is to attend 80. Your target is to secure 60 plus by attempting for 80. There are some students who attempt for 110 and gets only 18 marks. Getting it? There are some students who attempted only for 65 and got 59, myself. Getting it? It's not how many marks you attempt. It's how, with what perfection you attempt. You have seen, right, recent evaluation also. Answer sentence matching with the ICA book. Sentence means meaning. Suppose in ICA book, suggested answer contains 10 points. Out of those 10 points, you wrote 5 points. And question is for 5 marks. 5 points at least should match. Whatever the 5 points you wrote, it should match among those 10. Then you get 5 out of 5. Suppose you wrote 10 points. 1 point also not matching with that. You will get 0 only. We have this assumption. At least we'll write something. Half mark they'll put. No, they don't. They will not give you marks based on how much you write. Answer should match. Meaning should match. I will also gradually tell you, while discussing the subject, what are the loopholes that are there in the evaluation. It has positive effect as well as a negative effect, both. Getting it? We'll discuss both the sides. So these are the second priority chapters. This all in the same order we will be discussing. The subject we will be discussing in the same order. First, we will be focusing on first priority chapter. Then we will be discussing on second priority chapter. Between that, we will be discussing some question bank videos. We will give you question bank covering past 6 RTPs, 6 MTPs, 6 suggested answers. Past 6 attempts, including November attempt, we will consider. Getting it? Actually, to you, we will give the booklet, right? Question bank. It do not have past 2 attempts. We are updating the question bank. Soft copy will give you once it gets updated along with the hard copy. Getting? You just read single time. That's enough. We'll discuss in class now. That's enough. Then I will only give you revision class also. Mostly I will be conducting revision class in the April first week or March last week. If I conduct physical revision class, you can come at free of cost. If at all by any chance I couldn't conduct, we have done revision at last attempt. We have recorded for 30 hours. We will give you in the backup. Getting it? Then we will only do MCQs also in the class. Let's solve MCQs also in the class. Getting it? We institute book is having normal MCQs 115, case based scenarios 20. Roughly all put together 200 to 230 MCQs will be there. All the 230 MCQs will solve in the class. And here also there are some outside books which are available. 1000 MCQ books, 1500 MCQ books. No, don't follow that. They're waste, completely waste. You look at icai MCQs, how high standard they are. In exam also, that kind of standard only being tested. By solving icai MCQ book, I'll guarantee you can solve any MCQ which is coming in the final exam. Getting it? icai book MCQ is such high quality. They designed MCQ so qualitative. You know how much they'll pay for MCQ? 15,000. One MCQ. If I recommend one MCQ, case-based MCQ especially, if my MCQ was selected by Board of Studies, if they put in the final book, they'll give me 15,000 per MCQ. Getting the point? So by incurring that much cost, they develop the material. So imagine the quality. Outside MCQs, articles will prepare. Many faculties are giving MCQ booklets, right? They don't prepare. They'll give to the articles. Do some MCQ. Read the sentence. Take up this word. Put it as option. That is not the way MCQs work. Okay. Then we will come to second priority chapter. So this is the order in which we are going to. I hope you understood the structure, like what we are going to discuss, how we are going to discuss all that. Now, what are the resources that I am going to give you? Summarize. To have a summary, what we are going to discuss. So first, you are going to get main material. Main material. We will have 1A, 2. Actually, 1 and 1A is nothing but module 1. As for soft copy, it is one module only. But for printing, we split it into 2 parts for the sake of convenience. Getting it? So 1A, 2, and we will also give you question mark. Totally 4 books we will give you. In addition to that, one smart notes I'm giving you, colored notes. It's a colored notes. Smart notes will have 70% content of the main material. Like if a main material concept has 10 lines, in smart notes it is given in 7 lines. That's the only difference. Smart notes is a small size A5 book. Getting it? Smart notes will be given to you immediately today. Smart notes will be given to you immediately today. Main books, we will order it today based on whoever is finally paying. Getting it? Then we will MCQs, we will directly read from IC. Getting it? So this is the materials from my end. Google Drive backup we will give you. Clear? All of you? So with this, we have clearly discussed what are all that we are going to, get, what deliverables that you are going to get, how we are going to discuss this. I hope you are confident. Okay, just a minute. So the first chapter that we have to discuss at CA final is fundamentals. Like you might be worrying, sir, we have already studied audit at CA Inter. We are very much familiar with audit. Okay, then why this fundamental session? You will understand by the time we complete this chapter how many different things that you are not able. Getting it? Like how many of you have attended my CA Inter classes? Only 2. And How many of you have seen my marathon classes earlier? Okay, few. So even in marathon also I start with fundamental. Now, what is the definition of audit? Before we proceed, the definition of audit is very simple. Everyone knows. Audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether or not profit oriented, irrespective of its type of legal form. When such an examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion, if the definition has been discussed in depth, each and every word if we discuss correctly, then it's a one chapter. This fundamental chapter is nothing but whatever the terms we are looking in fundamentals chapter, the terminology, whatever we are looking in the definition of audit, each and every term is defined. Getting it? Especially this is very important in order to understand. Like, I hope you remember the objective of audit. In CA inter you have studied, no? First question, what is the definition of audit? What is the objective of audit? The objective of auditor is, the objective of audit or auditor, whatever, is to obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statements are free from material misstatements and whether the financial statements are prepared as per applicable financial reporting framework. This is the definition. Now, what do you mean by misstatement? Misstatement has a definition. Misstatement has a definition. Applicable financial reporting framework, if you decode, there is a word called applicable, there is another word called financial reporting framework. So what is financial reporting framework? There is a definition. What is applicable financial reporting framework? There is a definition. Applicable financial reporting framework may be a fair presentation framework. We have that. Again, applicable framework can be a general purpose. And all of these are important from MCQs. Sometimes if a fundamental based MCQ has been asked, you will be losing mark if you don't have this knowledge. Getting it? So that's why we need to discuss little in depth. Initial 2 or 3 chapters I will be going little in depth because there is a scope that some weightage will be there up to standards. Professional ethics onwards we will increase little bit speed because they're all easy chapters. Ethics onwards actually easy. Only up to standards we need to discuss very carefully the subject. That is what actually final students ignore. Almost if you look at in the market, everyone starts with professional ethics. But I'll tell you, professional ethics is a very easy chapter. If I start with professional ethics, I can easily mesmerize you. But I'll tell you, that is not something which is difficult according to me. That's a very easy chapter. Even if you read on your own, you can understand. And professional ethics, every time, what is the weightage? 12 marks. Last time, how much you know? 6 marks, I think so. In the descriptive, only 4 marks. Sorry. Only 4 or 8 marks they gave. Descriptive. Maybe MCQs would have been given. Every time in descriptive, they will ask for 14 marks. This time, they only asked in descriptive. 2 questions came, I think, 8 marks. So it's different. So institute is mainly focusing on what? Standards, audit report, and getting it. So in the first 4 or 5 chapters, whatever I told you last time, 40 marks, including Caro, all that. That we will give major emphasis, which is difficult at CFN, will give major focus. Clear? So the definition of audit. You see, an audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity. You see, the word financial information. You know, there is a word called financial information. They didn't use the word financial statements. They used the word financial information. Financial information consists of nothing but books of accounts, financial statements. It's nothing but books of accounts and financial statements. Both together we call it as financial information. If you think about a company, inside a company, Financial information is available where? Where the financial information is available? It is available mainly in books of account. Then additional information is also available in financial statements. In books of accounts, what assumptions they are taking, getting it? What is the basis of preparing books of accounts? That information will not be there. How you prepared books of accounts? That information will be given in financial statements. Getting the point? So, for an auditor, what information I want? Entire financial information. I want to have access to books of accounts. I also want to look at financial statements. Both. I want to examine. I want to verify. I want to ascertain both. Entire financial information. So, independently, I will verify financial information. Now, look at a case. Look at a case like, Tesla. Everyone knows, right? Tesla. Okay, it's a company incorporated in United States. Tesla Incorporation. It's actually called as Tesla Inc., which is what quoted in NASDAQ, getting a New York Stock Exchange. So Tesla Inc., Apple Inc., Alphabet Inc., Facebook Inc. These are all the listed companies in New York Stock Exchange. Getting it? Now today, people from India are investing in US stocks. And even you see YouTube, whenever you're watching some videos, especially these classes, commerce related, finance related classes, you will get an advertisement on investing in US stock. Getting it? There is a app called Upstock, which is famous for investing in US market. Getting it? So if you want to invest in USA, you need not be a resident of USA. You can be a resident of any country and invest from that country by using Indian currency. You need not even buy foreign exchange. You can just by using Indian currency, you can invest. So the technology, the resources, the rules of the government, everything is permitting now. So much liberalized. Getting it? Now tell me, you are from India, sitting somewhere in Andhra Pradesh, Guntur, or anywhere, Chennai, Bangalore, anywhere. You are able to buy a company share which is there in the Tesla. You know nothing. You didn't see the company directly. In fact, you have not seen the car which is manufactured by Tesla. You only saw YouTube videos. Tesla car is not in India, right? Getting it? But we are investing in Tesla. How, based on what we are investing in Tesla company? Based on what we are buying? Based on their profits, based on their turnover, based on their financial performance, based on their financial position, based on their business performance, based on their business scalability. Tesla is a very big company. In fact, it is world's big company now, right now, based on market capitalization. Based on market capitalization, value, the company is most valued company. In fact, beyond Apple, Tesla is most valued company now. You heard this? Elon Musk is the richest person. From the past 1 year, he is the richest person. After Jeff Bezos, after he gave divorce, almost half the wealth of him have gone to his spouse. Getting it? Then he came down from the ladder. At the same time, Tesla cars across the world were getting permissions. The Tesla market capitalization, the market price of each and every share of Tesla has gone up significantly, making Tesla, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk at the top. Again, very recently, he's stepping down because of the stupid decisions on Twitter. Getting it? Yesterday, there is a news on Twitter that there are no janitors, there are no cleaners for bathrooms. Employees are carrying all that. You know that? So that is the level at which Twitter has came down. Highly profitable company. Few months ago, after Elon Musk take over, the Twitter has been struggling like anything. For many reasons. Okay. Now, see, we are investing in Tesla based upon their financial performance, based upon their financial position. Now, tell me, how can we trust that financial position and performance? Because these Tesla financial statements were audited. They were audited. They were certified by Chartered accountant, nothing but in India we call chartered accountant, there we call with a different name, certified public accountant. Is a certified public accountant. Getting it? In the United States, there will be an institute like ICI in India. In India, we have ICI, right? Accounting body. In US also, they will be having some accounting body, PCAOB. Some body will be there. Getting it? So, under that accounting body, some professional has been qualified the exam. And he has the license to practice as a certified public accountant. He will certify public accounts, financial statements of companies listed on stock exchange. Now, Tesla showed some profit. They prepared some balance sheet and P&L. Okay, Tesla showed some 1 lakh crore profit. Tesla has showed total balance sheet asset 200 lakh crore. Getting it? Some 2 crore approximately total assets of Tesla. They showed like this in the balance sheet. Assume. Now, these figures, you are trusting. By sitting in India, you are believing these numbers and investing in the company. The only reason why you are believing these numbers is because these are verified. These are not just random numbers. These are verified by accountant, chartered accountant like you and me, CPA. Getting the point? A certified public accountant verified them and authenticated, mentioned his membership number. Getting it? He has given a stamp, he has given a recognition that they are believable, they are reliable. See, we look for this kind of authentication. We look for this kind of authentication on every product. On every product, we look for authentication. Example, when we are buying electronic items, we look for ISI authentication. When we buy packaged food, we look for FSSAI authentication. When we are buying gold jewelry, we look for BIS mark, BIS authentication, Bureau of Indian Standards. Any product you buy, we look for authentication. Who certified it as correct? Who certified it as reliable? Same way, financial statements of a company, who certified it as reliable? There will be some certifying authority. And that certifying authority is the accounting body and the members of the accounting. Same way, in India, we have so many companies where people are investing from India and people are investing from outside India. Have you heard of FIIs, foreign institutional investors? Have you heard of? Like, by the way, how many of you have started coaching of FR and SFR? How many of you? Either coaching or preparation, whatever. How many of you have started preparation or whatever in SFM and FR? Almost everything. So you might have got this concept: institutional investors, individual investors, retail investors. So no. So many foreign investors are investing in India, in Indian stocks, especially Indian stock market. Few months ago also was completely driven by foreign investors. Whether market will be bullish or bearish, completely driven by foreign investors. But now it's a very good sign. Many Indian investors are starting investing in the market. Now no more foreign domination is there in Indian stock market. Now markets are being determined by domestic investors. Foreign investors are unable to control the market anymore because of the high participation. Even though it is high, still the percentage of people who invest in stock market, who participate in stock market is 0.1%. 0.1%. In many successful economies, the percentage of population who regularly trade in stocks is somewhere around 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Only in India it is 0.1%. Which means, compared to the Indian population, the number of people who ever invest in stocks is 0.1%, whereas outside it is 1 or even 5. 10 to 50 times higher number of investors there in the other country. Whereas in India, 10 to 50 times lesser number of people are participating in stock market. Only when our generation and previous generations, only from them onwards only, they are participating in stock market. Very simple reason, only people access to education has increased only for those who born after 1990. If you look at your parents or your what uncles, whatever, for them there is no access to higher education. Most of them. Only in our generation we are having access to higher generation. In our next generation, of course, 100% access. Getting it? Obviously, in order to have knowledge in stock market, education is must, because to understand basic terminology in the stock market, you must have some. So we are looking for some certified accountant authentication. Now tell me, there is some fellow who is signing, right? The balance sheet and P&L account. There is this fellow, somebody who is signing. Now tell me, if at all this person, Tesla CEO, brother or sister, the person whoever is signing this, he certified everything is correct, and he is Elon Musk brother, will you trust? Obviously, nobody will trust. My brother says I'm very good person, nobody will trust. Yes or no? So who has to authenticate? Who has to verify? Somebody who is independent. Somebody who is independent, completely independent. Getting it? He is not having any relationship with the Elon Musk. Forget about Elon Musk. He should not have any relationship with the Tesla. So a person who verified the financial statements of Tesla should not have relationship with Tesla. Should not have any relationship with Elon Musk. The only way he connected with the company is because of the auditor position. What is the relationship with that company and me? I'm just auditor. That's it. Do you have any other kind of relationship? No, I don't have any other relationship. So independent. Independent means what? You should not be having any relationship. This independent is we call it as independent. We call it as, see, it's nothing but what? Independence is nothing but what? Happen. So this independent examination, this independence, we are having two types. Independence of appearance, independence of mind. We are having independence. We discuss the concept of independence in two ways. Independence of mind, independence of appearance. Right now, the example which I told, the auditor of Tesla should not have any relationship with company or with the directors. It is about appearance. What is it about? Appearance. When I look at you, you both should not have a relationship. You both should not be connected. So I am emphasizing on what? Appearance, what I can see. So the auditor must be independent in terms of appearance. Now, what is independence of mind? It's nothing but attitude of the auditor. Independence of mind cannot be seen. It is not visible. Only appearance you can judge. Only appearance you can control. Independence of mind you can't control. To protect independence in terms of appearance, I want the auditor to be independent in terms of appearance. I can make a law. I will put a section in the Companies Act. You are relative of the director, disqualified. You are having shares in the company, disqualified. You are indebted to the company, disqualified. You gave guarantee to the company, disqualified. Having business relationship with the company, disqualified. Your partner is an officer of the company, disqualified. If I say some relationship, I'll disqualify that. So appearance, independence of appearance is protected by law. Independence of mind. Okay, I don't have any relationship with Elon Musk. He appointed me as an auditor. Shareholders all appointed me as an auditor. Okay, I'm independent. But what if I can convince on my ethics? Getting my point? Elon Musk has told me, you certify whatever I give, I'll give you 100 crore. And I convinced. Getting the point? I convinced for that offer. And I certified whatever he mentioned. So that is independence of mind. So for an auditor, not only appearance which is important, independence of mind is also important. Independence of mind we cannot enforce, but we can punish. If an auditor, has acted in collusion, if an auditor has colluded with the management of the company and certified the financial statements inaccurately, wrongly, getting the point, we will punish him. We will punish him under 147. We will punish him under 447 of company. We even punish him under Schedule 2 of the ICI, CA Act. We will punish him under CA Act, Schedule 2. All Schedule 2 offences in professional ethics deals with punishment of the auditor who certified false financial information. So, independence of mind we can't see, but if we identify later that you compromised on your independence of mind, you compromised on ethics, you compromised on honesty, you compromised on so many things, we will punish you. To make sure you are independent in terms of mind, we brought something called ethics chapter. So the ethics chapter that we are discussing is because to protect independence of mind, what are fundamental principles, ethics, code of ethics, all that is to protect what? Independence of. You clear all of you? So an audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity. Financial information means what? Books of accounts and financials. By the way, independent examination means what? You must examine honestly, independently, without any bias. And you must not have any relationship, appearance wise. Getting it? So, independent examination of financial information. Financial information means what? Books of accounts and financial statements. You know, these financial statements are again two types. These financial statements are two types. General purpose financial statements, special purpose financial statements. What are they? General purpose financial statements, special purpose financial statements. What are general purpose financial, special purpose financials? We discussed this entire subject of CA final audit, even CA inter audit, even your FR. You are preparing FR, right? You are preparing financial reporting in NDAs, or here you are studying audit statements. We are in which financial statements context we are studying this subject in the context of general purpose finance. How to do audit of special purpose financial statements? You don't have it. How to prepare special purpose financial statements in your FR? You don't have insights. In the point, but we must know that we are learning audit of general purpose financial statements. We are learning what? Audit of general purpose financial statements. We are not learning audit of special purpose financials. We are only learning audit of general purpose financials. Now, what do you mean by general purpose financials? What do you mean by special purpose? General purpose, special purpose financials are those. See here. If the financial statements are prepared in accordance with a special purpose framework. If the financials are prepared using special purpose framework, then it's a special purpose. Now, what do you mean by special purpose framework? Special purpose framework is a financial reporting framework. First of all, it's a financial reporting framework. It is a financial reporting framework where the financial statements are prepared. As per the requirement of a specific user. If the financial statements are prepared as per the requirement of specific user means special person. Every year in India, many companies, every year after 31st March gets complete, they are preparing financial statements, balance sheet, P&L. Correct? Who are the users? Who are the users for this financial statements? Is it only shareholders? A prospective investor, I will use it. Government will use it. These financials prepared by company will be filed with ROC. And the ROC will give access to them to the income tax department. When you are filing tax audit report, you need to attach balance sheet P&L notes. Correct? Huh? You need to attach. So the financial statements are used by current shareholders, board of directors, employees, so many others. Is there any specific user? They are not special purpose. Then what is special purpose? Special, when do we call them as special purpose financials? If we prepare them for a specific user. How do we prepare them? As per his requirement. As per his or her requirement, as per that organization requirement, we prepare. Suppose if the user asks, please prepare financials on cash basis, I will prepare and give. Suppose if the user asks, ignore going concern assumption and then give, we prepare. Whatever rule he tells me, whatever rule he puts, I follow that. I will give it to him the financial statements as per his requirement. That is special purpose financials. Now tell me, special purpose financials, is it a public document or a private document? Obviously private. Obviously confidential. When a company is going for mergers and acquisitions, telling it, there is a company called purchasing company, and there is a company called selling company. The selling company will give quotation, no? At what price I will sell my company? What is the basis for the calculation? What are the financial position and performance? They don't give traditional financial statements. They'll give special purpose financials prepared on various assumptions as per their requirement. And we will give them. These documents are confidential. Most of the special purpose financial statements are confidential. For getting a bank loan, banker asked me to prepare my balance sheet P&L on cash basis, because for a banker, what is important? Not only your stability, but also your repayment capability. Both are important. So he want to see, if you prepare balance sheet P&L on cash basis, do you have profit or not? You gave normal balance sheet P&L, but banker insisted. Banker requested you to give additional balance sheet P&L, which is cash basis. You gave that additional balance sheet. You gave no cash basis balance sheet and P&L. That is special. As per the requirement of specific user. In this example, who is specific user? Bank. Are you getting the point? So, if the financial statements are prepared as per the requirement of a specific user, then we call them as special purpose financial statements, or also called as special purpose framework. So, special purpose framework is a financial reporting framework. Now here we have a word called financial reporting framework. What do you mean by financial reporting framework? What is a framework? First of all, what do you mean by a framework? Framework means rules and regulations. Framework means nothing but rules and regulations. Financial reporting means what? Preparation and presentation. Both. Preparation and presentation of financial statements. Financial reporting, you have a subject. Subject, if you decode, you are learning that subject not to prepare accounts. You are learning that subject to present the accounts. There are wide range of users. There are so many who will read. Getting it? So I need to present well. Not only preparing, but also presenting it well. That is what financial reporting. Reporting means what? To outsiders, to present. So financial reporting means preparation and presentation of financial statement. Now financial reporting framework means what? Rules and regulations for preparation and presentation of financial statements. If you give me some rules and regulations for preparing and presenting the financials, then those rules and regulations, I call them as a financial reporting framework. Legal framework, environmental framework, electricity framework. There are frameworks in so many cases. Framework word can be used in so many cases. Depending upon where it is used, it is that framework. If I give some rules and regulations for protecting environment, it's an environmental framework. If I give some rules and regulations for economy, it's an economic framework. Financial framework If I prepare rules and regulations for financial statements, preparation and presentation, it's a financial reporting framework. Now tell me, is financial reporting framework, is it same for all the companies? My question, is financial reporting framework, is it same for all enterprises? Is it same for all enterprises? No. A bank has to prepare financial statements using Banking Regulation Act format. An electricity company has to prepare financial statements using the format given under electricity. An insurance company has to prepare financial statements using the format given by IRDA. Correct? And normal companies has to prepare financial statements using Schedule 3 format. A partnership firm has to prepare financial statements using generally accepted accounting principles. A sole proprietary concern has to prepare financial statements using GAAP. So for every enterprise, depending upon the nature of the business, depending upon the objective of the financial statements, what is their objective, what is the nature of business, whatever rules and regulations they have to follow for preparation, for presentation of financial statements. So depending upon the nature of business and objective of financials, whatever framework I adopt for preparing financial statements, and that is called applicable financial reporting. What is applicable financial reporting framework? Depending upon the nature of business and objective of financial statements, whatever framework I follow is called applicable framework. For a company, applicable framework is different. For an electricity company, applicable framework is different. For a bank, applicable framework is different. For an NBFC, applicable framework is different. For an electricity company, applicable framework is different. Clear? So you see, applicable financial reporting framework. What is it? In view of nature of entity and objective of financial statements, in view of nature of entity and objective of financial statements, the framework adopted by management for what? Preparation and presentation of financial statements is known as applicable financial reporting. You see, if you decode like this, you see how you are able to understand. Correct? Earlier also you might have read this, but have you understood this? Reading sentence, understanding sentence is different from understanding concept. This is what everywhere we will find this. Getting it? So, in view of nature of entity can be a bank, nature of entity can be insurance, nature of entity can be electricity company, nature of entity can be a partnership firm, nature of entity can be a sole proprietary. In view of nature of entity, objective of financial statements. What is the objective? So, keeping in mind the nature, keeping in mind the objective, the framework adopted by the management of that entity for preparation and presentation of financials, then that framework is called as applicable financial reporting framework. In other words, financial reporting framework is nothing but set of rules and regulations that are to be followed for preparation and presentation of financials. For a company, applicable framework is what? Schedule 3 and accounting standards. For a company which is preparing financials using Ind AS, then division 2. Schedule 3 has 3 divisions. 1, 2, 3. For an NBFC, division 3 is applicable. Correct? All of you. Now, this applicable framework is again two types: general purpose framework and special purpose framework. What is special purpose? We discussed. Now, what is general purpose? Getting it? So, we'll discuss this by taking a small break. So, take some 20 minutes break and get back. Okay, we'll continue and finish this chapter maximum by this today. Immediately on the next day, we will start. Clear? That's it. So, the balance portion will be continued in the next part. So we need to discuss now about general purpose framework. Now you see here, what is the general purpose financial statements? What is general purpose financial statements? If the financial statements are prepared in accordance with general purpose framework, if the financial statements are prepared in accordance with general purpose framework, we call them as general purpose financial statements. Now, what is general purpose framework? It is also a financial reporting framework. Correct? This framework is talking about financial reporting. So it is also a financial reporting framework designed to meet. It is designed to meet. You see here, the wordings used are designed to meet common financial information needs. Common financial information needs of wide range of users. It's a financial reporting framework designed to meet common financial information needs of wide range of users, variety of users. If a company every year preparing balance sheet P&L notes and publishing in annual reports, listed company financials, everyone is accessing. Just Google it, you'll get listed company annual report, listed company financial statements, all that. These financials are used by everybody. Now tell me, if I ask you some money, if I want to do a business and ask you some money, what will you ask me first? What business you're doing? Correct? Right now, how much is invested, you ask me. How much is my turnover? How much is my profit? What are my expenses? What are my liabilities? This is what the general information you ask is sort of. Whenever you have an interaction, whenever you discuss about business with somebody, these are the common things which you ask. Not only you. If I go to a banker, I asked for a loan. Banker will ask, what loan? Business loan, I told. Immediately banker will ask, which business? What is the position? What are the assets? How much invested? How much is your turnover right now? How much is your profit? These are the same questions which banker also will ask. Same way, income tax department, they will also ask the same information. What business you are doing? How much is your turnover? What are the expenses? How much is the profit? Because they have some calculations. They have their own law and provisions, deductions, all that. Every user commonly wants some information, correct? From your business organization, every user wants some information in common. Now, I am a lawmaker. Getting it? I know this is something called Tesla or Reliance or Tata, who is doing a large scale business. Now, when they prepare balance sheet P&L, when they prepare financial statements, it must contain some information which is relevant for everybody. On behalf of all the users, I will develop a framework. I will develop some rules and regulations, and I will ask the company to put them. General purpose framework is designed by lawmaker generally. General purpose framework, who will decide? Lawmaker. For a company, which format, what information they should give in the financial statements, where it is mentioned, Companies Act. Correct? For a banking company, Banking Regulation Act mentions what information they have to give in. Because many people are associated, many people are connected, many people have interest. So general purpose framework is determined by law and regulation. How that framework is designed? It is designed keeping in mind common information need of variety of users, bankers, government departments, shareholders, investors, foreign investors, any user, whoever it is, commonly what they are looking for in this company. They want to know about turnover. They want to know about how it was calculated. They want to know about method which they followed. They want to know about the principles. They want to know about assets. They want to know about current and non-current. This is the information which everybody wants. Based on that, I prepare a framework by taking suggestions from the industry. That is called general purpose framework. So general purpose framework is a financial reporting framework. It is designed to meet common financial information need of wide range of users. That's called general purpose framework. If you prepare financial statements using general purpose framework, it is called as general purpose financial statements. Now, a company prepare financial statements as per Schedule 3 for various requirements, for various users. There are many users. This is general purpose balance sheet, general purpose P&L. This is general purpose financial statements. In the point. Now, what are the characteristics of general purpose financials? This is not there in the book anywhere. Just for your understanding again. Fundamental assumptions are used in this framework like going concern, accrual, consistency. All these topics we will be discussing slowly as part of standards. Getting it? Then these are the framework where they comply with GAAP. GAAP means what? Generally accepted accounting principles. If you prepare balance sheet on accrual, if you prepare P&L on accrual, that is what generally accepted. Everybody wants to know some information common. Generally, we want some information. That's called GAAP. GAAP is designed. See, the GAAP is different for different businesses. The GAAP is different for different businesses. The GAAP is different in different regions. The GAAP is different for different countries. Getting the point? Generally accepted accounting principles. This is different. See, in India, accrual basis is what expected by everybody. In some other country, accrual basis may not be accepted. Getting the point? Accounting standards are followed. And remember, financials are prepared periodically. Tell me, when do we prepare special purpose financial statements? Yearly? Quarterly? No. When there is a need. When there is a requirement. Whereas general purpose financials, we prepare periodically. That periodicity may be 1 year, maybe quarterly, maybe half yearly. For listed companies, they need to prepare financial statements quarterly basis, quarterly results. Very recently, under Companies Act, Section 129A has been added. New section has been added in 2021 year. Every unlisted public company, what are they? Every unlisted public company meeting certain criteria, MCA will give rules and regulations for that. Right now, it is not active. Section has been brought, but implementation is not yet brought. 2021 Companies Amendment Act 129A was inserted. Now, not only listed companies, see, listed companies prepare quarterly statements, everyone knows. That is as per SEBI requirement. That is as per SEBI requirement. What about unlisted companies? Do they require any quarterly results or half yearly? No need. They just have to prepare annually. But there are many unlisted companies. Which are doing large scale business. Correct? Where they are having access to bank loans, public funds, nothing but. Now these companies also, government should put an eye. They can't wait up to 1 year. They want to know their performance on quarterly basis or half yearly basis. I can't wait up to 1 year. Within 1 year, anything can happen. So 129A has been inserted at the public interest. Getting it? At the interest of the loan lenders and all, especially. Getting it? So some unlisted companies, whichever fall under 129A, they should also file periodical results. That is what 129A section. We have this in our company audit chapter. There I will discuss. Getting it? Now, this general purpose framework may be a compliance framework, or it may be a fair presentation framework. It may be a compliance framework, or even it may be a fair presentation framework. Now, in CA India, you might have came across this word, true and fair versus true and correct argument. What is the difference between true and fair and true and correct? See, in tax audit, we give audit report. In tax audit, when we are doing tax audit, we have to give audit report. The audit report format is given under income tax rules. Getting it? Whenever you are appointed as a tax auditor under income tax law, especially 44AB section, what is the audit report format applicable? Form 3CA or Form 3CB. In both the cases, There is another form 3CD. Getting it? It's actually called as 3CA, 3CD, 3CB, 3CD. The two forms. This is one form, this is one form. See, you are doing audit of trust also. Here also you will give audit report. There the form is 10B. There the form is 10B. Getting it? The audit report format is different. For trust it is different. For ATIA audit report is different. For 3CA, 3CB audit report is different. For transfer pricing audit report is different. Getting the point? In income tax we have so many cases where audit report is different. We only discuss generally under income tax law. Whenever we discuss of audit, we only discuss of 44A generally. We only think of 44. But in income tax we have so many types of audit. There is an audit under 35AD. There is an audit under 35D, preliminary expenditure. There is an audit under section 11, charitable institutions. There is an audit for 80 ICAI companies, whichever is claiming exemption. There is an audit requirement for 80 JJAA, employee claim expenditure. There are so many requirements for audit. We only discuss 3CA3. This is format. In income tax, when auditor is giving particulars, whatever particulars were mentioned in 3CD, are they true and correct? Are they true and correct or not? That is what we have. Getting the point? There they want 100% answer. Particulars given in 3CD, is it correct or not? They are asking. They are not asking financial statements are true and correct. Many interpret with financials. Whereas in our general audit, we are talking about what? Are we talking about any form? No, we are talking about financial statements. Whether the financial statements are true and correct, it is impossible. Particulars are 44 clauses, some 30-40 pages, that I can see. 100% are they correct? Information given in that particular is correct or not, I can tell. Getting the point? It is 100% accurate or not, I can easily tell. But what about the financial statements? Remember, financial statements is a summary of books of accounts. Books of accounts means voluminous. So many. You imagine DMart. In listed company, it's an Avenue Supermart. Or even you take Reliance company, Reliance Industries Limited, which is having so many segments. Yes or no? They're having digital, they're having retail, they're having marketing, they're having news channel, again television media, they're having production, film productions. So many they're having segments under one company name. Recently, Geo. Until earlier, Geo is also part of RIL, but now Geo has been formed as a separate company. But otherwise, it would all be a segment. Telecommunication is one segment in the company. So you see, there are so many segments in the company. Getting it? So for each segment, they need to give some information. Exactly where I am, like why I came to Reliance example, just a minute. Now you see so many segments. Yes or no? Now tell me, Reliance, this one, retail you take, Reliance Trends you take, Reliance Footwear you take, Reliance Jewels you take. Across India, Reliance Trends is having some 300, 400 stores. Correct? In each store, they will have a petty cash book. You will not find book and all. You will find computer, software, electronic software. Every store, they have sales. No? Every store, every day, some 100 invoices they will raise. Let us assume there are 300 stores. Every day 100, 365 days. This is sales. Getting it? I'm not talking about sales value. I'm talking about number of invoices. Now this is only one business of RIL. Now there is another business of RIL, Reliance Digital. There is another business of RIL, Reliance Marketing. There is another business of RIL, Television. Everywhere you see the number of revenue receipts, number of invoices they issue. Just imagine how many crore number of transactions were there. How many crore number of transactions? Tell me, is it possible for us to verify all of them? It's not. DMart, Avenue Supermart is having more than 2.5 crore invoices in a year. Number of invoices I'm saying, not about the value. 2.5 crore number of invoices. The turnover is somewhere 60,000 crore. Reliance Company Industries, standalone turnover 4.5 lakh crore. More than 4 lakh crores. Getting it? 4 lakh crore. Imagine books of accounts only in income. What about expenditure? What about salary related records? What about provident fund records? What about ESI records? What about gratuity records? What about staff welfare expenses related records? What about labor law compliance records? Only related to employees. What about asset register? What about asset purchases? Invoices? What about purchases? So many. Imagine the books of accounts. Reliance Industries, only Reliance Industry books of accounts. Most they'll maintain in electronic format, but all bills and all will be physical format only. If I go and buy this phone, I'll get a physical bill in a store. If I buy online, I will get electronic bill. Of course, physical bill also we will get. Amazon will give at the time of delivery, physical bill also. We have to keep that physical bill in the file for GST input claim. Yes or no? GST input you will get only if you retain original invoice. So every purchase I make, in order to claim input, I need to retain the bill. Correct? Every sale I need to have a bill. All that I need to keep in physical files. Though I prepare books of accounts electronically, though I prepare all the transactions electronically, I record, background proofs, supporting documents are in physical format. Getting it? So Reliance books of accounts, approximately this entire, in Broadipet, one full line is required to keep those records. One full line is required. That many buildings required. Reliance Industries, the corporate office is very big, extremely big. In Hyderabad, financial district, ICICI Bank corporate office is there. 3 buildings. Approximately, its SFT is more than 1 lakh SFT. More than 1 lakh SFT. That big building. Only corporate office. Only accounts are located in that. Mostly. That is a quantum of figure. Tell me, is it possible for an auditor to verify 100%? So we need to talk about not true and correctness of the financials. We need to talk about true and fairness of the. We do audit based on sample. We do audit based on sample. That's why the assurance that we provide is not absolute but reasonable. What is the level of assurance that we provide in audit? Reasonable assurance. We cannot provide absolute assurance. We cannot provide absolute. So now what is difference between compliance framework and fair presentation framework? There are 2 frameworks. Mostly question will not come on this, but in a rare case, if institute want to test in a remote way, getting it, if the paper setter want to test in a very remote way, they may test you in this way. I'll tell you, whoever is setting up the paper sets, they are not from teaching background. First of all, understand. Even the paper valuations, they are not from teaching background. That is the biggest drawback. That is biggest minus also. Getting it? They are only purely from practice. Suppose we are there. We are into teaching as well as practice. Getting it? So we understand naturally what is important outside and what I can test also to the student, because I know how exactly student will think. Because we interact. Suppose if I am valuing your paper, you wrote the answer in some variation is there, but I understand your intention. But tell me, if he's only a practicing CA, no connection with the subject at all, will he value properly your paper? If you find an alternative answer which is meaningful, he can't evaluate it. Whatever is there in the correct answer, he will see. If it is not there, strike off. Correct? If you give an alternative meaning, alternative answer, even though it is correct, the valuation does not know that. Just because he's a chartered accountant, is he aware of that? If I give you CPT paper, here foundation, statistics paper, if a student write an alternative answer, will you figure out? Same logic. Just because you qualified CA foundation, that doesn't mean you know whether it is right or not. Same problem lies at CA final every year. If at all a person is involved in teaching in the past 4 years, disqualified to value the paper. Even if I want to value the paper, even if I quit from teaching, I need to wait for 4 years. Only after that I can go and value the. I need to give a declaration to icai, self-declaration. Whether are you involved in teaching or not in the past 4 years. I need to give a declaration. No, I am not involved. Then they'll allot me. You may immediately get a doubt. What if you give a wrong declaration? If institute finds out later, schedule 2 offense. Furnishing false information to the institute. Sorry, it's a schedule 1 offense. Furnishing false information to the institute. It's an offense under professional ethics. Further, there is a punishment. Your membership will be debarred. Your COP will be taken away. Membership will be cancelled for indefinite period. They will decide which period. Getting it? So there are so many problems. So this is the main problem in valuation. The person who is valuing the paper doesn't know the subject. So if you think you wrote an alternative answer, valuation doesn't know it is alternative. He will only understand that it is wrong answer. So as much as possible, what we should do? We should try to present the same answer which institute is. So don't prepare for easy, prepare for tough. Getting it? Now, so what is the fair presentation? What is the compliance? Now you see compliance framework. What is the compliance framework? Compliance framework refers to a framework. It is a framework where financials are prepared and presented in accordance with the requirement of the framework without any deviation. Getting it? Actually here, without any deviation word is added by me. It was not there in the original definition of the compliance framework. Compliance framework original definition is only from here to here. It is a framework where the financial statements are required to be prepared and presented in accordance with the requirement of such framework. It's a framework where financials are prepared and presented as per requirement of such framework. Whatever the framework says, we'll prepare as per. We don't deviate. Exactly, I'll prepare as per. That is called compliance. When this is the condition. Suppose a company has to prepare financial statements exactly as per Schedule 3, exactly as per accounting standard, no deviation at all. Then the framework is called as compliance framework. Then that framework is called as compliance framework. Suppose I can deviate. Suppose I can deviate from the requirement of the framework. If the law permits, deviation from the requirement, you follow accounting standard. But if it is not correct for you, okay, ignore that. Follow some other rule. Disclose that. Which means law is permitting you to deviate. For what purpose? For achieving a fair presentation. For achieving a fair presentation. If you have to deviate, you can deviate. If the law permits that, then that framework is called as fair presentation. Most of the general purpose financial statements in all the countries, it is fair presentation free. You will not find anywhere compliance free. You will not find anywhere compliance free. You will find only fair presentation framework everywhere. No, sir, what is an example? Suppose we'll take a simple example. I don't know how far you are good in FR. Okay. Even I am also not so super good in Indies and all. I hardly know 7 or 8 Indies correctly. Getting it? In outside, when we have to check financials Indies, we will have formats. We will just check as per the formats and formulas. That's it. It will be done. Work will be done. That much in depth, whatever you learn in India is no. In reality, that is not useful. Whatever you learn in depth, that much is not there in the outside. That's the main problem. Okay. Now, it is there, but very rare we expose. You take insurance companies. In India, we have totally 60 insurance companies. Only 60. Some 25 life insurance companies. Another 35 general insurance companies. Only 60. Who can be the auditor of the insurance company? Who can be appointed as an auditor of an insurance company? There is a criteria. The auditor of insurance company must fulfill the following criteria. It can only be a partnership firm or LLP. The firm should be in existence for more than 15 years. And the partner of the firm, one of the partners should have an experience of more than 15 years. Another two partners of the firm must have an experience of more than 7 years. Another two partners must be FCA simply. 5 years is enough. Minimum it should have 7 partners. Minimum articles they should have some 20. So tell me in India, how many CA firms will fulfill this criteria? Hardly less than 100. Less than 100. Even though you become a chartered accountant with All India first rank, you will not get insurance audit. Hey, I'm an All India first rank holder. Give me LIC company audit. I'll do an audit. No, they'll not give you. Wait for 15 years, then you'll get. Provided you have a team of 7 chartered accountants partnership firm, you are having 15 years experience, your 2 partners are having 7+ years experience, and the 2 partners are having FCS, and you're having 20+ staff articles, whatever. Only then you will get the audit. 15 years continuous practice, in between COB break, gone again, fresh 15 years will calculate. Bank audit also the same way. Bank, I'm talking about overall central audit, principal audit. So there is no guarantee that just because we are a chartered accountant, we will have exposure in every industry. Insurance and banking is highly restricted industry. Getting it? Not every CA has access to do audit of insurance company. Not every CA has access to bank audit. Not every CA has access to big government audits, PSU audits. Suppose I want to become Indian Oil Corporation auditor. They have their own guidelines again. CNDG has their own guidelines. Tier 1 public companies, Tier 2 public companies, Tier 3 public companies, they have some classifications. Okay, if you become a CA, 3 years COP completed, you are having partnership firm, you will get very small government company. State-owned government company audit you will get. Central-owned government company audit you will not get. So there is a restriction. Getting it? Fine, anyhow. That's why I told you, in the AS, whatever you read, you will not find in reality because of the restrictions that we have. Next. So, what is a fair presentation framework? Now, before I discuss, there is a word called true and fair. What is the difference between true and fair? Suppose, very simple example, I sold goods on credit for 1 crore to some 10 customers total. So, I need to receive from 10 customers altogether 1 crore receivable. Now, one customer for whom I sold goods for 20 lakhs, he felt he became insolvent, whatever reason. For whatever reason, he became insolvent. Now tell me, honestly, truly speaking, how much I have to receive from everybody together? How much I have to receive? 1 crore. But if I show the same 1 crore figure in the balance sheet as my asset, is it misleading to public or not? Why? Because I know very well that 20 lakhs worth of money is about to become bad. Fairly, how much you will receive? Balance sheet must show true and fair picture. It should be true. At the same time, it must be fair, honestly, reasonably. I know you have to receive 1 crore, but fairly tell me what is your receipt? 80 lakh. So that's the difference between true and fair. Focuses on the substance of the transaction. Fair focuses on the reality. Getting the point? True focuses on the fact. Getting it? That's it. Now you take an accounting standard. Example. Let us assume the accounting standard permits depreciation only on 2 methods. One is SLM method, another one is WTB method. Let us assume that these two only were there. Actually, India permits other methods. For the sake of example, let us assume India is on property, plant and equipment. It permits only 2 methods. For the sake of example, what methods it will permit? SLM or WDV. Only these 2 methods are permitted. Getting it? Now, suppose I purchased a machine where the machine is having some 10 lakh units capacity. It has a capacity of 10 lakh units. Getting it? Or it can work around for 10, it can work for around 10,000 hours. It will work around for 10,000 hours. Now, year 1, I have used it for 2,000 hours. Year 2, I have been used it for 3,000 hours. Year 3, 3,000 hours. Year 4, again 2,000 hours. So tell me, at the end of year 4, the machine will stop working. Correct? As per the manufacturer warranty indication, it will work only for 10,000 hours. By year 4, it will stop working. It will not work beyond that. Now tell me, which method of depreciation I should follow here? Should I depreciate using SLM method, or should I depreciate using WDV method? Which one I should follow? None of these. I should follow sum of units method or sum of hours. Here, the machine life is not used constantly. First year, the machine life reduced only 2,000 hours. Second year, we are using high. Third year, we are using high. Fourth year, again low. Which means depreciation in first year should be low. Second and third year should be high. Again, fourth year should be low. Equal. WDV reducing. Both will not match. But accounting standard says I should follow any of these two. Tell me, in this mission, for this mission, if I follow accounting standard, either SLM or WDV, is it fair? Is it giving fair picture? Which method if I follow, it will give fair picture? Which method if I follow, it will give fair picture? Sum of units method. Correct? Production units method or hours method. I follow that method, it will give me fair picture. Now, can I deviate? Can I deviate from the accounting standard and follow a new method called units method? Is it permitted? Look at the law. Mine is a company registered under Companies Act. I have to prepare financial statements as per 129 section. What is that? Section 129. 129 subsection 1. What it says? You see here 129 subsection 1. Just a minute. Hey, don't join, okay? Now we'll see Companies Act. Here it is PDF is given. I think ebook we will find out. You see this is 129 section. Okay. Now you see here 129 subsection 1. Is it visible? So what it says? The financial statements 129 subsection 1. The financial statements shall give true and fair view of state of affairs of the company, and they must comply with accounting standards notified under 133 and shall be in the form provided in schedule 3. If you observe, if at all they have not used this word true and fair view. Suppose they simply mentioned every company shall prepare financial statements as per accounting standard and schedule 3. It's a compliance because I have to prepare as per accounting standards and I have to follow schedule 3. Suppose if it is not correct for me, what accounting standard says is not correct for me, not applicable for me, can I deviate? No. Here, they have first not used that word. First, what they mentioned, true and fair view. The financial statements must be true and fair. Of course, comply with accounting standards, comply with schedule 3, but it should be more than that, it should be true and. What does it mean? You follow accounting standard. Is it not applicable for you? Not, it is not correct for you? Okay, ignore that. Ignore that method. Follow your own method, which is fair. So in a fair presentation, we follow accounting standard. We follow schedule 3. But wherever it is not fair, we will deviate from that and follow whatever is fair. So under companies, every company will prepare general purpose financial statements and it is fair. Banking Regulation Act also contains similar wording. Insurance Act contains similar wordings. IRDA preparation of financial statements regulations contain similar wordings. RBI regulations contain similar wordings. Whenever the word true and fair is used, getting it in the section, it's a fair presentation. If true and fair word is not there, it's a compliance. Are you getting it? Now, audit report format. If I have to give an audit report, if I have to give an opinion on financial statements of an enterprise, my opinion wordings, if it is fair presentation framework, is different. The opinion wordings in case of compliance framework is different. The auditor has to express whether the financial statements are true and fair view. I need to express opinion on true and fair view if it is fair presentation framework. If it is a compliance framework, I will not talk about true and fair view. I will talk about whether financials are prepared as per the law, whether financial statements are prepared as per the rule. That's it. I will not be talking about true and fair. Understood the difference? Have you? All of you. So when do I identify? How do I identify? How will I identify? Is it fair presentation or compliance? Check. What is the section applicable for financial statements preparation? Look at that section. Is that section contains the word true and fair? Yes, it's a fair presentation. Is it not talking about anywhere true and fairness of the financials? No, it's a compliance. Compliance framework means how they told you, what they told you to prepare, how they told you to prepare the financials as per accounting. Follow whatever accounting standard says. Don't deviate at all. Follow schedule 3. Don't deviate at all. Sir, it is not suitable for me. It's okay. Follow that. What you can do? Fairness is not bothered. Read. All of you. Now look at the fair presentation framework definition. Very important for MCQs. It refers to a framework where financial statements are prepared and presented in accordance with the requirement of such framework. It is nothing but compliance framework definition only, correct? Which means in fair presentation also they are asking you to follow the law. Follow the law. And you may deviate. You may deviate from the requirement of the framework, or you may give disclosures beyond the requirement, means additional disclosures. Law says only 7 points. You can give 10 points disclosures. Additional disclosures you can give. Why are you giving additional disclosures? Why are you deviating from the requirement? So as to achieve fair presentation. The words true and fair view appears only in this type of. Most of the general purpose financials are prepared as for fair presentation. To understand? You see how grip you will be getting on the toughest terminology. In audit, in the entire, this is all contained in the preface to standards. In your Ind AS also it is there in the preface. Preface to Ind AS you will have this in the content. Some 50 pages preface you will have Ind AS. 50 pages some preface is there for auditing standards also. In the preface it is this entire thing is discussed. In CA Inter they asked a question on this for 5 marks. Nobody expected. Only those who attended my class approved, because in first class I discussed all this in CA Inter as well. What is fair presentation framework? 4 marks question. Obviously, when they ask at CA Inter, there is a chance that they'll ask even at 5. Because SA 505 question is a CA Inter question logically, but they asked in the final last attempt. So there is no guarantee that it will not be tested. Clear? See, why I am emphasizing in the initial 15-20 hours up to audit report or standards chapter, I will be going little slow because these are very tough to read later. Only if you get complete command on this, it will be easy for you to revise later. Getting it? That is why I am going very slow. We are having totally 140 to 150 hours time. Believe me, there are many who can complete audit within 80 hours coaching. But you take lot of time to prepare them. Getting it? If you spend 140 hours of coaching with me, your preparation time will be hardly 78 hours. Later, after coaching, you just have to invest 78 hours. What to do within that 78 hours, I will guide you. So totally for audit subject at CA final, dedicate 250 maximum, including revision, including everything. 250 only. FR coaching is 300 hours plus, no? And you are again spending another 200 hours for preparation. You are spending 550 to 600 hours. I'm asking 50% time. Getting it? People know, they say, sir, auditing is not a scoring subject. Or it's a scoring subject. If you spend 600 hours, obviously you will score. You spend 600 hours on audit, you will get 80 plus, I will guarantee. But spend 600 hours. You will spend 200 hours on audit. You want 80 marks. You will spend 600 hours on FR. You just want 60. How fair it is? Correct? That is the main difference. Students complain auditing is not a scoring subject. I'll ask him how many hours you spent on FR, how many hours you spent on audit. 60 to 70% variation. 2-3 times additional amount they will spend on FR. 2-3 times of effort. If you spend half the effort you put on FR on audit, I'll guarantee exemption for you. Just listen to the class. After the class, 70 to 100 hours, depending upon your speed. 70 to 100 hours. If you give additional time, I will guarantee exemption for you. Now that's about fair presentation, compliance. Have you understood? In a compliance framework, true and fair view do not appear. If you want an example for compliance, no, special purpose financials, I will say. Special purpose financials, how should I prepare? As per requirement of the user. Whatever he says, I have to prepare. Yes or no? Can I deviate? So, can I take this as an example for compliance framework? Yes. Here, user told one framework, one rule. You prepare as per the rule. Can I deviate? No. Prepare as per the rule. Obviously, I can take this as an example of compliance framework. Most of the definitions in this chapter will come. Most of the definitions. Now, so now come back to audit definition once again. So now financial information word is completed. Getting it? Independent examination word is completed. Financial. Now financial information is what? Books of accounts and financials. Financials means what? It may be general purpose or special purpose. General purpose financials may be prepared as for compliance framework or fair presentation framework. Anything it can be. Correct? Now you understood the grip. This is understanding concept. Now, an audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether or not profit oriented. It may be profit oriented, it may not be profit oriented. Its objective doesn't matter. What is the purpose for which I am doing the audit? With a view to express opinion. My objective is to give opinion, that's it. Some organization is there doing something. Whatever they did with the money they got, they showed in the financial statements. Profit and loss account, balance sheet. Balance sheet means what? I got some money. What I purchased, getting it, and how I sold them, what expenses I incurred, what liabilities I'm having. First, I'll get money. I'll buy assets. I'll buy stock. I'll do business for which I incur expenses. Because I'm incurring expenses, sometimes I will also incur liabilities. So whatever liabilities, whatever assets I have, I'm showing balance sheet. Whatever income I have generated, whatever expenses I incur, I'm showing P&L or income and expenditure account. Whether these two documents are they true and fair, you appointed me. I will check it. I will check the background supporting documents. I will study your business, and finally I will give my report. I will sign whether they are right or not. Now tell me whether a non-profit organization, a charitable institute, whether they appointed me as an auditor, a highly profit-oriented company, whether they appointed me as an auditor, doesn't matter. In both the cases, what I need to do? I need to give my opinion. That's it. I need to tell whether it is right or wrong. Is the balance sheet P&L right or wrong? Okay, yours is not P&L, income and expenditure. Now, okay, is it right or wrong? In both the cases, my objective is same. You spent some expenditure, you incurred some expenditure. How much you incurred? 10 lakhs. Where is the bill? I will see the bill and see whether it is 10 lakhs is correct or not. I will try to identify. It is correct only, then true and fair. Is it profit-oriented entity or non-profit-oriented entity, charitable institution, commercial or non-commercial? Doesn't matter. My objective as an auditor is to give opinion. That's it. I don't have any other objective. It doesn't vary. It doesn't. My objective of audit will not change depending upon your business. Are you getting the point? Irrespective of size, whether yours is a 10 crore business, 100 crore business, 1 lakh crore business, 1000 lakh crore business, doesn't matter. My objective is to give opinion. You gave me profit and loss account where turnover is just 10 lakh rupee. If you ask me, if you appoint me as an auditor, I will verify whether 10 lakhs is correct or not. If your turnover is 10 lakh crore, you appointed me as an auditor, I will verify whether 10 lakh crore is correct or not. Size doesn't matter. Irrespective of its size, irrespective of legal form, whether you are a partnership firm, whether you are a sole proprietary, whether you are a LLP, whether you are a company, whether you are a society, AOP, whatever, doesn't matter. See, I always feel there are only two types of businesses. There are only two types of businesses. There are only two forms of business. One is individual, another one is partnership. One is individual, another one is partnership. In fact, I don't call it as partnership form, I call it as AOP. What do I call it as? AOP. So a business can be done individually alone, or I can hire, or I can combinedly, co-jointly with others. I can do business. There I call it as AOP. Body of individuals term is an outdated term. Only for more specific recognition, BOI word will come. If two or more people join together, all of them are individuals, then we call them as BOI. You open any law, you will not find the word BOI. Body of individuals word you will not find anywhere. They simply use the word association. How can a person do the business? Individually alone I can do, or by forming an association I can do the business. Correct? If two or more than two persons, they combine together, they come together and do a business, do some activity, it's called AOP. If you are alone doing a business, it's individual. Now when I'm doing alone, single, sole, ownership, sole proprietary, what is it called as? Sole proprietary concern. Now there is another form which was also recently came into highlight, OPC. What is it? One person company. Getting it? What is the difference between OPC and sole proprietary concern? Liability. In a OPC, the member will have a limited liability. In a sole proprietary concern, the owner will have unlimited liability. Getting the point? Because some clients, they ask me, so should I go for a sole proprietary concern or should I go for OPC method? First of all, they don't know. They'll come and ask me first thing, getting it. Sir, like we are doing, I wanted to start some business, sir. I want to invest in this, and there is some guy who is taking care of this entire business. Getting it? So tell me, what should be the right option for me? This is the question they'll ask me. and not covered in my company law clause. Will you say that? No, right? You have to give him a decision. Okay, so I'll ask him, are you only an investor or are you doing business? Are you doing both or are you only investing? No, I'm only investing. You know, youngster came, he has a beautiful idea. Okay, he just need money. And I want ownership power. So I will invest, but ultimate rights with me. Ultimate ownership, profits should be with me. But if something goes wrong because of him, I should not be liable. Now, what is the form of organization you will support? OPC. What I'll do, I'll ask him to open OPC. Incorporate an OPC, nothing. I'll incorporate the company MCA. Okay. For that, I will charge fees. Getting it? So I will put you as a shareholder. I will put him as a director. Getting the point? Every contract he will sign as per the rules framed by you. AOA, MOA. He will obey that. If at all something he do in addition to that, he is only liable. Correct? Huh? In law, you have studied. Board of directors will have unlimited liability. If any act is taken by them beyond the company powers, beyond the MOA, beyond the AOA, they are personally liable. Correct? Huh? If it is sole proprietor, what will happen? Whoever is investing is the owner. He is employee. Employee is not liable. No. Getting the point? So outside situations will come like this. You need to suggest him which form of doing business is correct, depending upon their business requirement, depending upon their investment pattern, depending upon their participation in the business. You need to suggest to them what business is, what form of organization is suitable. So if you want only an investor, you want to enjoy profits only. If something goes wrong, you don't want to take risk. Go for OPC. Two or more than two together you're doing business. Yes. Now which is correct? Should I recommend a partnership form? Should I recommend a LLP? Should I recommend a company form? Should I recommend no need to register anywhere? Are you getting the point? Suppose me and my friend, another friend, three of us want to do a business. We want to invest equally the money and start some business, some venture, and do some business. Is it compulsory for me to register under partnership law? Is it compulsory for me to register under Companies Act? I can continue without registration. No, that's called AOP. An association of more than 20 is an illegal association. Have you seen this in partnership law? An association of more than 20 is an illegal association without registration. If at all more than 20 of us together doing business, more than 20, we must register.